In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He created the sun, the sky, the land, and the sea. He made the moon and stars, creating life underwater and on air. He made life on land and created Adam and Eve, the first humans on earth who started the line of sin in the Garden of Eden. It took 7 days to create the world, which started around 4000 BC. In 2400 BC, Noah's Ark was built, when God flooded the world. Abraham was born in 2165 BC. He received covenant from God in 2090 BC. Joseph, the son of Jacob, is sold to Egypt in 1898 BC by his jealous brothers. Jacob then moves to Egypt and finds Joseph in 1876 BC. The Israelites suffer for 430 years in Egypt due to the famine in Israel. Moses takes the Ten Commandments in 1446 BC. Jews wandered the wilderness for 40 years until 1406 BC. The new generation of Israelites reached Canaan in 1406 BC. It took 2,594 years from Genesis 1 to Joshua 1. In 1399 BC, Israelites conquered the city of Jericho, followed by Ai, and God orders the destruction of Canaanites. The Israelites failed to conquer Canaanites after giving into sin. For 299 years, the Bible talks about the 12 judges that led the tribes from enemies. Samuel is born in 1120 BC, later becoming a prophet of God. Saul becomes king appointed by Judge Samuel in 1051 BC. David becomes king as successor to Saul, conquering Jerusalem and defeating the Jebusites. David conquers Jerusalem. In 971 BC, Solomon becomes king. He was the last king of unified Israel. The unified monarchy of Israel was split into Israel and Judah due to economic complaints, with Judah led by Rehoboam and Israel led by Jeroboam. In 1760 BC, Jonah preaches to Nineveh after listening to God. In 739 BC, Isaiah ministers to Judah and Israel to prevent Judah's exile by Assyrians and Babylonians. In 722 BC, Israel was conquered by Assyria. In 627 BC, Jeremiah ministers to Judah. In 605 BC, Babylon conquers Judah. In 597 BC, Jews are exiled to Babylon. In 539 BC, Babylonian Empire falls to Persians. In 538 BC, Persian king issues a decree. In 536 BC, the Second Temple reconstruction begins in Jerusalem. In 483 BC, God uses Esther to preserve Jews living in exile. In 458 BC, Ezra leads second group of people back to Israel. Who is Ezra? He was an important Jewish priest and scribe in the Second Temple period and was responsible for restoring Jewish scriptures from Babylonian captivity. In 444 BC, Nehemiah built the walls. The final book of the Old Testament is written in 430 BC. In 331 BC, Alexander the Great conquers Persia. In 323 BC, Alexander dies in Babylon. In 280 BC, Seleucids govern Palestine. In 165 BC, Judas Maccabeus and the people of Israel unite to overthrow the Seleucids. In 63 BC, Judea becomes part of Rome. In 37 BC, Herod is appointed as governor of Judea. In 4 BC, Jesus Christ is born. He spends his life as a carpenter, living until 33 years, where he was crucified by the Romans on the charge of treason in 30 AD. He rose again on the third day. In AD 37, Caligula was known for being cruel and had a short term of rule until AD 41. In AD 50, Jerusalem Apostles' Council. In AD 64, Apostle Paul was martyred by Roman Emperor Nero. In AD 85 to 96, persecution of Christians by the Roman Emperor Domitian. In AD 95, Revelations is written, which is the last book of the Bible. In AD 312, the Milvian Bridge vision of Christ to Constantine. In AD 313, the agreement to treat Christians with kindness in the Roman Empire. In AD 321, Constantine issued a day of rest from labor on Sunday. In AD 325, the first council of Nicaea to address the body of Christians in the Roman Empire. In AD 380, Christianity becomes the official religion of the Roman Empire. In AD 380 to 1500, church was in the ruling power. In AD 571, Muhammad was born. In AD 610, Muhammad established Islam. In AD 632, Muhammad died. In AD 1099, Crusaders invaded Israel. In AD 1291, the era of Crusaders fell. In AD 1483, Martin Luther is born in Germany. In AD 1517, thesis of Martin Luther brings Reformation. In 1522, Luther's Bible is published. In AD 1526, Tyndale translated the Bible in English. He was then put to death in AD 1536 for heresy. In AD 1541, John Calvin was born. In AD 1558, the Church of England was established. In AD 1609, Baptist movement was started against infant baptism. In AD 1611, the King James Bible was printed. In AD 1646, the Westminster Catechism took place. In AD 1715, the Tamil Bible was printed in Tamil by Bartholomew. In AD 1735, the Welsh Methodist revival begins. In AD 1738, the Methodist movement is led by John Wesley. In AD 1740, a series of religious revivals started in America. In AD 1830, the Church of Mormon was started by Joseph Smith. In AD 1844, the false prediction of Jesus' second coming. In AD 1845, Southern Baptist Convention was formed. Along with the Seventh-day Adventists, the Bible students, and other religious groups. In AD 1904, the Welsh Revival begins. In 1906, the Azusa Street Revival begins. And in 1909, Pentecostal was born. In 1942, the Association of the Evangelical was formed. In 1970, the Jesus Movement was formed. In 1979, the Jesus film was made along with the making of the New King James Version of the Bible. In 1992, women were allowed to be ministers in the Church of England. In 2005, United Church of Christ is the first to support the LGBTQ community. The Church of England also allowed LGBTQ to be ministers.